Welcome to our Appspace 8 launch. In Appspace 8, we'll talk about how we got to this Appspace 8 release in July, what were the catalysts for the acceleration of releasing Appspace 8 earlier than originally scheduled, what we did learn from talking to customers, and what's new in Appspace 8. And then we'll finish off with a quick demo to walk through the different updates of Appspace 8. We're excited with the launch of Appspace 8 because it's a big company shift and product strategy shift. If you look back in history, in 2002, we started focusing primarily on digital signage, video walls, and kiosks across industries. In 2017, we shifted the company focus to the workplace and delivered our first workplace service integration with room scheduling that was integrated with Google Calendar, O365, and Exchange. And for the past 3 years, we've really focused on making Appspace the leading platform for workplace services and workplace messaging. In 2018, we added the partnerships with Cisco for Cisco WebEx devices and Crestron. And this year in 2020, we're releasing Appspace 8, which for the first time enables simple team communication. And this is really a big change in the company. We've been focusing on publishing exclusively to devices. We can now publish from Appspace to users and devices. What were the catalysts to rush Appspace 8 out? And I don't mean rush, but accelerate the release of Appspace 8. We believe that the unprecedented times with COVID-19 called for tools that would keep teams safe and together. And so really focusing on delivering an Appspace 8 release that focused on the new reality, new normal. We also wanted to make sure that we were addressing workplace task force needs to prepare for the return to the office, providing tools to keep teams informed and safe in the workplace. And also we talked with a lot of customers. We met with the largest companies in the world and tried to understand what was top of mind for them and where they expected Appspace to be able to help. And this is really what came out of this. We're providing a platform to help communication be the backbone of culture. And really, it's about making information and communication consistent and timely. It's making sure that we can keep geographically dispersed teams in the loop now that people are working from home, working from anywhere around the world. We wanted to cut through the noise of emails, intranets, and chats, which are oversaturated channels. We didn't want to bring a new app. We wanted to integrate with existing apps. And specifically, we wanted to leverage customers' existing investments in collaboration tools such as WebEx Teams, Microsoft Teams, Slack, Facebook Workplace, and others. And of course, we wanted to consolidate on secure and simple tools that just work, making sure that the tools that would be used by corporations and executives would be a safe platform. And the value proposition is very straightforward and 3 major pillars. The first one is making communication pervasive, making sure that it was easy to communicate in a timely manner to users and teams around the world that may be working from home or offices. We wanted to make sure that it was making communication more efficient, cutting through the noise of all the existing channels that are used, such as emails, chats, and intranet. We also wanted to make sure that we would provide this tool, an easy-to-use tool that would make it simple for corporations to adopt, to be able to get messaging out as quickly as possible. The second thing is we wanted to make the end-user experience extremely simple. Extremely easy. We didn't want to have to build a brand new app that users would need to adopt, install on their personal devices. And this is why we decided to integrate with enterprise messaging apps, which have seen a huge growth for the past 4 months, and that are now really commonly used by many employees across the workplace. So integrating with Slack, Microsoft Teams, Cisco WebEx, and Facebook Workplace. Finally, we wanted to make sure we had a tool that would help unify the team. And for the past couple of years, we've been talking about the modern workplace, but here it's really about building a new workplace culture, making communication the backbone of your culture inside the company. So really reinforcing to reinvent the workplace experience with Appspace is an essential part of your cultural brand strategy. And we think we've achieved those three objectives by releasing Appspace 8 this month. And I'm hoping that as we go through the demo, you'll see the immediate benefits. So it's really about simple team communication within your reach. So we wanted Appspace to be the fastest and most secure way for executives, department leads, regional offices to share information with their teams, whether they're inside the offices or geographically dispersed, working from home. And of course, we wanted this to be a tool that would keep your company communication on brand, easy to use, and easy to deploy at very large scale. So what's new in Appspace 8? There's 6 real features. 4 are brand new, 2 are big updates. So the first 3, the portal for viewing information on personal devices. So brand new Appspace portal. When a user logs in Appspace for the first time and they have no admin permissions, as they authenticate using a single sign-on, they will get to the Appspace portal where they'll be able to view all the information they're entitled to view as an employee or a member of a team. The second is the integration with enterprise messaging apps, feeding Appspace content and posts into WebEx Teams, Microsoft Teams, Slack, and Facebook Workplace. In order to do that, we had to make some big updates to our content library, enabling brand new workflows, because obviously when you publish content to devices, it's very different than the way you're going to publish content to a user portal or a team portal or an enterprise messaging app. We also are releasing the Maps module, which will allow you to deliver wayfinding services to kiosks around the workplace, but most importantly, allow your Appspace console users to import floor plans, map them with your calendar resource providers, and really manage them in a very simple way. We didn't want this to be a professional services feature. We needed this to be a self-service feature, and we think we've achieved there. And finally, 2 more things. Analytics. A lot of customers have been asking for insights in an analytics dashboard to be able to understand better how Appspace is being used. We've now delivered the first Appspace analytic dashboard, and we'll look to continue to enrich this as we gather customer feedback. And of course, we wanted to also improve performance of Appspace, so you'll see some massive improvement, for example, with the content library. We wanted to make the platform even more secure than it already was, and we wanted to keep the pricing as attractive as before. So diving quickly into each of those new updates, the content portal. The Appspace portal, super simple to use. The idea is you roll it out to 60,000 users. You don't need to train them. It's extremely intuitive. And now from one single location, they can access all their company reports, video, whether those are town hall recordings or training, their company announcements, and so on. I'll walk you through the portal, but the ease of use has been our primary focus as we understood companies did not want and did not have the time to actually educate a whole workforce around the new tool. Enterprise messaging app, which really integrates closely with the portal as well, is the ability now to use our publishing platform to send pre-formatted posts into Slack, Microsoft Teams, WebEx Teams, and Facebook Workplace. Schedule those posts using our advanced scheduling capabilities, features that are native to the Appspace platform so that the right content reaches the right groups of users at the right time. And finally, making sure that we keep those chat groups in your enterprise messaging apps up to date by leveraging, again, the native capabilities of Appspace of removing and updating messages within those chat groups. Maps. As I mentioned, this is a brand new module in Appspace. This will allow you to import your floor plans, organize them in geos, campuses, and buildings. You'll be able to map resources in those floor plans to your calendar provider, whether this is O365, Exchange, or Google Calendar. You'll be able to define points of interest, meeting rooms, meeting spaces, hot desks, lifts, exits, and the list is endless here. And finally, we've designed this so that it would work with your IWMS provider if you have one. Really excited with Maps. This is the beginning of a journey where we believe we will continue to enhance workplace services across your environment, whether this is on workplace devices or within your Appspace portal. Analytics really becomes critical. I mean, analytics was extremely important already with the workplace devices, but now adding the ability to publish into enterprise messaging apps and to publish to the Appspace portal, to teams and users, it is extremely important to provide more insight on where the information is going, what type of information is published, who is it published by, and so on. So a lot of great information there. Again, this is the beginning of a journey like for Maps with analytics. We're looking to capture more customer feedback and keep improving and delivering more analytics down the road. The new content library, a brand new user experience, streamlines content and publishing workflows. I'll walk you through it briefly, but we're really excited, getting a lot of excellent feedback already on the content library. It's highly responsive. It's an improved content preview and editing interface. You can publish directly to channels. You can view analytics of it at a content level. Again, all of this ties nicely into what we've already talked about. And finally, performance and security. Not only does the content library provide a significant faster experience, but we've also focused on delivering more performance and security updates to user login and single sign-on. The app will use less memory. We've done security improvement, including minimizing information required in policy files, and we're increasing the use of web tokens to manage client rights. And we've been very focused on security for many years, and this is why so many Fortune 500 customers use Appspace. But we've kept listening and getting feedback, and we're continuing to improve on the performance and security front. So let's quickly have an Appspace 8 demo. I'm going to switch over here to the Appspace dashboard, the Appspace console. For those who are familiar with Appspace 8, nothing really changes here. Just a quick note, there is in the banner here the ability to access our Appspace 8 webpage, which we'll talk in more details around everything we've already talked about. Now, going back to the Appspace 8 console, I'm going to go ahead here to channels, and I'm going to select an Appspace channel called Workplace Task Force 2020. You'll notice that this channel has one content item, which is an announcement of the next company town hall scheduled on July 16th. I'm going to go to the publish section of this channel, and you'll notice that I can still publish Appspace channels to devices, our progressive web app, which can be running on Cisco or Crestron devices, or digital signage or kiosk, and so on. And this will display the information nicely with all the content animations that you can build inside Appspace. In this case, there's a QR code. If you flash the QR code, the invitation to the next town hall will be added into your calendar. Going back to the Appspace console, you'll notice that I can also now publish an Appspace channel to teams and users. This will allow me to access the content in the Appspace portal. So here is a quick preview of the Appspace portal. You'll notice here on the top right corner, I am logged in as an account owner. So I do have the admin button that allows me to toggle between the admin view and the user view. Here in the team view, what you'll see is first-time users who will log into the Appspace portal will not really need any training. They can easily search for content. There's a banner here that can be a playlist of messages. You have the most recent updated messages, and you can easily here view a message of your choice. So this is the same content that we saw on the digital sign in the lobby. It's also displaying in my portal. I have more than that information. I also have an article which gives me more context, and in this case, a meeting link that I can use to join that town hall on the day of the event. I can also view content based on channels that I have been assigned to as a user, as a member of a team. So you can see here, I have access to the company town hall channel and the workplace task force channel. Let's go back to the Appspace console. So we've published to devices, we've published to teams and users using the portal. I can also publish to enterprise messaging apps. So here I have Slack, and I have no content in there. I have Microsoft Teams. The Appspace app is in that Microsoft Team channel, but no content. And I have WebEx Teams and also no content in there. I can easily add an enterprise messaging app by clicking add, select the enterprise messaging app of my choice. I'm going to select WebEx Teams, select the chat group I want to publish to. I'm going to select Appspace 8 launch. And then I can do configure some settings. First, the post formatting. Do I want the post to have a title, an article, and a thumbnail? If I have an article, do I want only a caption or a full article? When clicking the post title, do I want to redirect to the Appspace portal or, for example, redirect to a referral link? I can use content rules to define if the majority of the users within a chat group are primarily located in the UK. I can select, for example, a specific time zone, make sure that when you're publishing in Appspace 8, it publishes in the chat group at 8 a.m. and not in the middle of the night. I can use tagging rules. So for example, I can restrict content to only publish content items that have a tag important. And then finally, when I update my content in Appspace, I can decide to also update the content in the enterprise messaging chat group. So you can keep your information always up to date. And if you're removing your content from your Appspace channel, you can also instruct the Appspace app in those enterprise messaging apps to be removing the content so that you only have up-to-date information in your chat groups. And when I'm ready, I'm going to click Save. So I now have one Appspace channel feeding into 3 different enterprise messaging apps. And I'm going to go ahead here to the content. And I'm going to be able to take the existing message and click Publish and post to all apps. You'll notice that a Slack, Microsoft Teams, and WebEx Team icon now appear. And if I go into Slack, the message is here, title, article. If there's a link in the article, it shows up, and the thumbnail. And I can click on the title to be redirected to the destination that I have defined when I configure that chat group. Same thing in Microsoft Teams, and same thing in WebEx Teams. So instant publishing into enterprise messaging app or the ability to use scheduling tools. So let's quickly have a look. Before I go and add more content, I'm going to go back to publish, and I'll address the 4th publishing option you have here, which is the ability to publish an embedded code into an existing portal that you're using. I'm going to go and use SharePoint for this use case. And you'll notice here that I have my content playing into a SharePoint portal that was configured, and it's rotating through the messages. So I've now published that Appspace channel to a bunch of devices, teams and users into the portal, 3 enterprise messaging apps, and to a SharePoint portal. And from there, I can easily go and add new content. I'm going to access the new Appspace content library, look for a folder. I'm going to take that workplace task force folder. I can use some of the scheduling capabilities to say, when do I want that content to be displayed, what day of the week, or for how many days. And I can use day parting, which is going to be really important with enterprise messaging apps, where I can say, hey, I want to publish those content items every day of the week from 7 to 9 a.m. Push them out, leveraging the enterprise messaging platform to bring the content to the users. The users view those messages. They maybe return to the office messages such as checking your temperature, avoiding public transportation, respecting social distancing. The content stay there for 2 hours, leave, the next day they come back and kind of reminds people of what they should be doing. When you're ready, you just click and add the content into your Appspace channel. For those who are familiar with an Appspace channel, you can see the playlist of content. You'll notice here on the right side that each content item is confirming if it has published to Slack, Microsoft Teams, or WebEx Team. And for some content items, it published to the 3, some only published to 2 of the apps. If I go to the enterprise messaging apps, you'll see that all the messages are already published. Same thing in Microsoft Teams, and same thing in WebEx Teams. If I go back to my Appspace channel, the reason that only certain content items were published to the 3 apps is because when I configured the WebEx Teams chat group, I did specify that only content with the tag important should publish in WebEx Teams. The others are going to be ignored from WebEx Teams. But I didn't specify that for the Slack chat group and for the Microsoft Teams chat group. So it did publish the other content items without the tag in those 2 apps. If I go to my enterprise, to my Appspace portal, and I click refresh, you'll notice that all the content items are also published inside my portal. So the content was not only published there, but also to the portal, and they were also published to the device and also published to the SharePoint portal. So big update here from Appspace. Again, think about Appspace as your publishing platform. You can now publish to workplace devices. You can publish to teams and users in the portal. You can publish to all your enterprise messaging app, Microsoft Teams, Slack, Cisco WebEx Teams, and Facebook Workplace. And you can publish to your preferred web portal or intranet, being SharePoint, Loom Apps, Jive, or whoever else you're using. Now from there, let's go and have a quick look at the new content library. So brand new content library, big update since 2014. A lot of customers have been hoping and dreaming of this. It's now there. You can select a folder of your choice. You can see all the content items. You'll notice that you have 3 little dots here, allows you to do a lot of simple things, such as add the content directly from the folder to a specific channel, preview it in a new tab. You're able to also just do a simple create a copy of a content item or delete an item of your choice from here. Once I select a content item, I have a preview. I can specify the resolution of that content, either responsive or maybe it's specifically for phone or tablets. I can click the edit button, and as previously in the previous content library, you can modify the card zones, headline, summary, the media files you're adding, and there's a bunch of card templates that are available to you in your Appspace account. You can now use the articles section, and this is going to be really important when you're publishing an Appspace card into an enterprise messaging app or into the Connect portal, the Appspace portal. You're able to actually view an article which provides more context. So if I go here in my WebEx Teams, not only do I have the card with the high impactful messaging, but I have a title and an article and maybe a link that redirects me to a different content file that I need to access. So really the article becomes important. In this article section, you can also view the caption. If you select the option to only view the caption inside the enterprise messaging app, you have a preview. And if you decide to allow the user, when they click the title of that post in the enterprise messaging app, to be redirected, you can specify if you want them to be redirected to the portal or a specific referral link that can point you to your specific intranet portal, for example. You can view which channel the content is already allocated. You can also simply here add and select another channel you want to publish it into. You can view the analytics of that unique content item, how many users viewed, how many channels it's been allocated to, and the more you're using that content, the more data will be there. And finally, in the settings sections, you can specify the tags, which will allow you to define publishing rules into enterprise messaging apps, for example. All right, that was it for the content library folder. Let me go next to the next option. I'm going to go ahead and access the map module. So from admin, I access maps, and you'll notice that in maps, I have a bunch of buildings that are created. I can create geos and campus networks or building networks. Each building will have a number of floors. I can just easily import a floor by clicking upload floor, select the floor of my choice, and whether it's images, PDFs, that floor will import into your Appspace account. You can then open that floor. You can see the floor layout, and by clicking add here, you'll be able to select using 3 options: auto trace, polygon, or marker. I'm going to show you polygon. It's a nice feature. So this room has well delimited walls. I just select it and it automatically creates a resource on the right side. I'm going to open this. allows me to map it to a calendar provider, so I can go ahead and select a calendar provider of my choice. I can add additional information. Maybe this room, which was originally set for 4 people in O365, is now only for 2 people since the COVID-19 updates. And maybe I want to specify that it has specific features such as video conferencing. When I'm ready, I'm just going to click Save. And I can go ahead and add another room or specify resource, maybe lifts, for example. Here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new meeting room. You see how it immediately defines the walls of that meeting space. And from here, I can say, okay, this is a space and what kind of capacity that space has, and if it also has video conferencing. And that's it. Once I'm done, I'm pretty much done with the organization of that floor plan within the Dallas building. The next thing is I want to view how the user is going to actually access that wayfinding experience. And we're going to use the schedule board that many of you already use. The schedule board originally focuses on this schedule view, which is a list of all the available spaces and the schedule ahead. And from there, you can easily interact and book. Where we're introducing the maps view, which will allow you to actually flip the card and view the available rooms that you created. If they're in green, they're pulling their status from O365. You can select the room and you can do a booking of that room and just do an instant booking. That will show the room as occupied and will display the information correctly. So really a great update to the schedule board that is already used by so many of you. You now have the ability to deliver the wayfinding capabilities using our Maps module. All right, great. Well, that was the map services. I'm going to go ahead now and access the analytics module. And in the analytics module, you'll notice that we open up first on an overview, which will give you an overview of what information, what content is within your account. So how many cards, images. You can see the number of channels you have created, the number of apps registered, how many devices are registered. And from there, you can just quickly go into a deeper dive and see, okay, from a content perspective, who are the most active authors, what content has been added by period, the number of content type. So here we've got 157 cards and 35 images and so on. So a lot of additional data. Again, you can easily switch here and define how you want to view the information. So based on active users or maybe the enterprise messaging apps that you are publishing to from your Appspace account and have some additional data there. Excited with the analytics module. It's a great tool for our power users of Appspace to understand better how Appspace is being used and how successful it is. And we look forward to adding a lot more analytics down the road. With this, I think we've covered pretty much the Appspace 8 release. Again, a lot in this update, in this Appspace release. Excited by the portal option and what it will offer teams in terms of accessing information while people are working from home and even after that. The enterprise messaging apps integration is extremely promising, leveraging those apps that every user uses actively to actually push message, distribute messages out at the right time, rightly formatted. The updates to the content library provide easier workflow and a much richer tool for creators. The Maps module provides a brand new workplace service experience, enhancing the kiosk environment with a real self-service platform and not a product that will require a lot of professional services. And finally, the analytics, which really give you all the insights and information you need about how your Appspace environment is being used and how content is being distributed and published. We're excited by Appspace 8. We hope you'll enjoy it. If you want to find out more information, please go to the Appspace 8 webpage or contact your customer success manager or your account executive at Appspace, and we'll be happy to jump on a call to share more details. Looking forward to seeing you on another Appspace release or Appspace product update. Have a great day. Bye.